when your babysitter is there at your house, I know they're keeping your kids safe. Their job is very important. Happy to pay them, right? But like, when your kids have dinner with them, like, would you think that they would put stuff in the sink? Honestly, want to know. I just want to know.
And I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead. but and I made mistakes, and I was like a novice.
Okay, guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. So today we are going to be switching it up a bit because my FYP page, my For You page, whatever you call it, was kind of all over the place. But there was two stories that I kept seeing over and over again. The first one is about a dad who went on TikTok after firing his babysitter. He basically posted the whole situation asking if he was in the wrong. Like, did I expect too much? And the comments did not go in his favor, to say the least. I definitely have opinions on this, but I'm really curious to hear where you land on it. It's definitely caused quite the debate on TikTok, and it's not the first time that I've seen something like this stir up controversy. When it comes to people going online, going on TikTok to basically vent about their babysitters. And then we need to talk about Jim Carrey. I know we don't typically get into mainstream celebrities over here unless there's something genuinely interesting happening, like Lively, Justin Baldoni situation, where we talked about that a couple times. But this story about Jim Carrey is everywhere. Some of the takes that I'm seeing on what people think about it are actually insane. Some people think that he was cloned. Some people think that it's other celebrities impersonating him. And now there is a special effects makeup artist that claims it was actually him on the red carpet, not Jim Carrey. I don't know. It's a lot, and I don't know what to think. So let's just get into the video. Okay, so first let's talk about the dad who went onto TikTok venting about being unhappy with the babysitter that he hired for the evening. He was upset because he came home to a mess, and because of that, he says that he fired her. So let's watch that video first.
I need to know your experience with babysitters. Like, honestly, very genuinely curious about like what the expectations should be for babysitters who, when you have young children, they're around after bedtime for several hours, right? We went out with friends tonight, this place Fabrica here in Fishtown, really cool, awesome cabaret show, dinner, the whole 9 yards. But it's our first time being out in a long time, and we were like, we're gonna stay out till 11 o'clock, okay? Parents, staying out till 11. So our kids go to bed, like they should be in and tucked away by at least 8:30, 8:45, right? So when your babysitter is there at your house, I know they're keeping your kids safe. Their job is very important. Happy to pay them, right? But like, when your kids have dinner with them, like, would you think that they would put stuff in the sink? Honestly, want to know. I just want to know, right? It's not our dishes. We did have one babysitter. The very first time she stayed over, she like washed all of our dishes, but that was a one and done deal. But like, at the very least, I would think like the stuff would make it to the sink, right? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So let me know. What does yours do? What's the expectation?
Okay, so I definitely have my opinions, but first, let's just go through some of the comments and just see what people were saying. Someone said babysitters are not made. Hope this helps. Somebody says I clean dinner dishes and straighten up any areas that we played in. Clean up the entire house? No. Clean up after themselves? Yes. This person said the expectation for babysitters is that they kept the kids alive and didn't burn the house down. And this is what a lot of people were kind of calling this guy out because it was a little bit ironic, saying complaining about the babysitter not tidying up dishes while actively not helping your wife tidy up is wild, because my expectations is for my husband to help. So the comment section was kind of all over the place, but it did seem like a lot of people actually did not like his take. They did not like the way that he handled it, saying basically, you know what, babysitters are not maids. So then he did a follow-up video and even added a poll, which again, it did not go in his favor. But he basically went into a bit more detail about his expectations, how much he was paying the babysitter, and that this wasn't a teenager. This wasn't someone who it was their first babysitting job, that she actually is a nanny during the week. So this isn't her first time babysitting, basically.
This is an insane take, okay? I understand that a babysitter and a maid are not the same thing. I totally get that. But the video that this is referring to, okay, I think my expectations are pretty aligned with what you would hope to happen when you're paying somebody $30 an hour. She's watching a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. They were in bed by 8:53. She was at our house until 11 o'clock. The kitchen table, when we got home, still had everything left on it from dinner. Okay. I don't want her to put them in the dishwasher. I didn't want her to wash the dishes, put them in the drying rack. Literally, my expectation was just, okay, they would be moved to either the sink or the counter in the kitchen. Is that really a lot to ask for these days? This isn't a teenager getting paid $12 to $15 an hour. This is a full-blown adult, and she actually works as a nanny for somebody else like 5 hours a day. If you want to tell me that as a nanny, she's giving breakfast and lunch, whatever, snacks throughout the day, and not cleaning up, putting things in the trash or putting things in the sink, she's probably washing dishes. That would be absolutely crazy if that was the case. Anyways, I got ratioed on that video, but a ton of the comments are about people saying, of course, that's like a basic expectation. If you're feeding the kids, if you're playing with toys, anything that wasn't taken out before the parents left, like, yes, clean it up, especially if you had 2 hours and the kids were asleep. Anyways, I need you to vote in this poll so I can figure out if I'm crazy or not.
Okay, and so the comments on here, somebody said communicate it to her, not us. Someone said, question, if you hired a maid, would you expect her to watch your children while they cleaned? Someone said, you asked, we answered. Somebody else said, I know you're saying 30 like it's a lot, but 2 kids, 15 each, that's really low. He said, no, it's not. Where do you live? What are you charging for babysitters? And I actually do not think 30 is too low. Um, Personally, I think that's a pretty good rate. And then this is basically where I land on the whole situation. What this person said, did you verbalize your expectations? If not, firing her is extreme. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But on that comment, somebody replied, I'm really confused why somebody would have to be verbally instructed to pick up after themselves. And he hearted that comment. So, again, a lot of the comments on his video were not in his favor, which kind of surprised me. But I do think it's in a way of the way that he worded it. I think that's why the comments were not in his favor. But they were all basically saying, no, it's not the babysitter's job to clean your home at all. But there was actually some response videos. And what I thought was kind of interesting was that in the response videos on the comments in those comment sections, they completely agreed with the dad. He just, I think, got into an algorithm that just was not for him. Like, for example, I'm going to show you this video of this woman talking about how Gen Z doesn't take initiative. And that's the problem that, she agrees with the dad, and it's more along the lines of Gen Z just not taking initiative.
Just recently came across a video on my For You page of a dad saying he fired his babysitter because the babysitter didn't clean up the dishes after dinner and just put them in the sink. His kid goes to sleep around 8. He stayed out till 11. So like from 8 to 11, she was just chilling there and didn't just put the dishes in the sink. And I tell you, I was so shocked to open up the comments and everyone was like, she's not your maid. Like, the job is to keep your kids alive. I'm on the dad side because I've also not called a babysitter back for this exact reason. And I think it also ties into the conversation of how Gen Z is getting fired at like crazy rates because they do not take initiative. And a lot of Gen Z is saying, well, I'm not going to take initiative if you're going to pay me $15 an hour, which is valid. But I always pay my babysitters anywhere from $25 to $30 an hour. It is always the Gen Z college kids that this happens with. Like, anytime I've had a babysitter that's like an older lady, she always goes above and beyond. Like, my daughter also goes to sleep at 8. So from 8 to 11, you can just put the dishes in the sink. Like, I don't expect anything crazy. Maybe tidy up the toys you used, or if you brought out a board game, put it away. Like, is that so crazy?
And like I said, her comment section was in complete agreement. I saw other videos that were being stitched and kind of just responding to this dad's video. And basically, 100% of the time, they were like, yeah, that is the bare minimum. So, yeah, it's a very interesting debate going on TikTok. And like I said, I've seen this debate before with people going online and asking, is this normal? Or I fired my babysitter. I'm unhappy with my nanny. And personally, where I stand as somebody who babysat all through high school, all through college, any mess that I made while I was there, if I was there from 7 to 11, any mess that was made there, dishes, toys, anything like that, was going to be cleaned up 100% of the time because A, I was getting paid. I was part of that mess. I was the reason that that mess was being made. I'd also have the kids pitch in if they were old enough. And again, I was being paid. The parents go out to have a nice time. They don't want to come home to dirty dishes everywhere. So I actually do get where the dad is coming at least for most of it. Because yes, you should absolutely clean up the mess that you made, but I'm also on the side of, if you are hiring somebody, you should set very clear expectations from the start and not be passive aggressive about it and go and fire them and post on TikTok for engagement or validation. Because my question is with this situation, was there any conversation happening ahead of time? Were the expectations clear? Because yes, I think most of us know, yes, she should have cleaned up. Maybe nobody taught her, but was there any conversation? Or when they got home and they were upset, was there any conversation? Or was it just directly, you're fired, we're not going to use you again? Like, was she a good babysitter otherwise? Were the kids taken care of? Did they have fun? Were they safe? Were they fed? Like, she checked all of those boxes, but she left a mess? I feel like if that was the case, at least a conversation should have been warranted, at least to give her a heads up, to give her a chance to fix her mistake. Because yeah, I do think it's obvious. I would have never felt comfortable leaving a mess when I babysat, but trying to, we don't know the whole situation, trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I don't know, let me know your opinion on this. In my opinion, putting the conversation of the expectations of what a babysitter should or should not do, put that to the side. The whole going to TikTok to complain about your nanny or your babysitter instead of just having a conversation with them to work out a possible solution is kind of a bit strange. Like I said earlier, passive aggressive, but also, I guess, that's just, we live in a world where anything, especially with places like TikTok, anything can be used for content. Okay, so those days when your to-do list is so busy? That was me today, actually. And by dinner, I had zero energy left. Normally, I would just order takeout, but I actually had a Hello Fresh meal ready to go, and it was on my table in under 15 minutes. It was a salad with ingredients that I wouldn't usually buy, so I was fully expecting for it to just be okay. But it was actually so, so good. And that's what I love. There's no meal planning, there's no grocery shopping. They have over 100 plus recipes to choose from, including 15 high protein options each week, and I can pause or skip at any time. If you're busy but you still want real food, quick meals at home, HelloFresh makes it so doable. So use my code BTSFM at HelloFresh.com for 10 free meals plus free shipping. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New or returning subscribers only. Varies by plan. Sign up today. Click the link below or use my code BTSFM at HelloFresh.com. And thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. But okay, on to the next topic. Have you seen Jim Carrey lately? Jim Carrey, right? We don't know. We don't know. But likely you know what I'm talking about because his appearance has been a major conversation point over the weekend. If you type in Jim Carrey, the suggested search will be Jim Carrey new face. So let me show you a clip of him at one of his most recent events. I believe this was in Paris. We're going to see him speaking, pay attention to his demeanor, his face, his eyes, specifically his eyes, hairline, all of that. Because this appearance is what fueled this huge conversation, conspiracy, everything. So pay attention very closely.
Bonjour. Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy. But, it's, then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards. And I was like, I'm dead. And I made mistakes, and I was like a novice, but I felt a lot of love, and I felt a lot of appreciation that I tried, and what I said was true, and I really wanted to recognize my family. I wanted to recognize my dad. I mean, my dad was the type of person that if you met him for 5 minutes, you felt like you knew him for 50 years, I can't talk about him without getting emotional.
Oh. He doesn't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Okay, so nobody thinks, or at least a lot of people do not think that it's him. They said, they got him. Who the hell is this? I'm not into conspiracy theories, but this is unsettling. Jim Carrey once hated these events, didn't he? Someone put, I'm telling you right now, and they have the meme of that woman on the plane. This is not our Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, RIP. 1962 to 2025. This doesn't sound like him. I've watched this man since childhood, and I'm telling you, they either did something to him or it's not him. So, yeah, we're going to kind of get into some of the conspiracies, why people think this a little bit more here in a minute. My thought right away was that he got some work done and is maybe still a little puffy from it. That was kind of my first initial thoughts. And actually, there was a plastic surgeon. He's really popular on TikTok, and he has even weighed in on the conversation. So I'm going to show you his video real quick. You can, he's going to be telling us about what possible procedure, what possible work that Jim Carrey might have gotten done to give him this new appearance, this new face, like people are saying.
A lot of people are asking me to comment on Jim Carrey's appearance. And you can see this is him in 2006, and apparently this is him now. He appears to have had an endoscopic brow lift, as evidenced by his brows being higher than before and his hairline being back a little bit. I also think he may have had some Botox injected into his forehead and an upper blepharoplasty. You can see how his eyelids are significantly more open than they used to be. He also may have had a mid-face and a lower facelift, lifting both his cheeks and the lower face and jowl region. And it does appear he's had some fat grafting into his cheeks to plump them up as well. His nose also looks quite a bit longer and refined. This could be a sign of a rhinoplasty. So either Jim Carrey has had a considerable amount of facial plastic surgery, or this isn't Jim Carrey, and it is a doppelganger? Or maybe he's playing some type of trick on us?
And even with that video, the comments still were not buying it, basically saying it's okay to admit that it's not really him. And then, basically, to stir the pot even more, a makeup artist by the name of Alexis Stone claims that he actually transformed into Jim Carrey, so it was him on the red carpet, not the real Jim Carrey. Alexis has transformed into many celebrities over the years, such as Lana Del Rey, Jack Nicholson, Judy Garland. And on Instagram, Alexis posted a series of photos with the caption Alexis Stone as Jim Carrey in Paris, with the third and final photo being the prosthetic face, teeth, a wig, and makeup. Personally, I think that photo is AI generated. I don't know about you. I think Alexis is kind of playing a big joke on us, but there is a lot of people that believe this to be true. I saw People magazine is running with the story, so I do think it was an AI generated photo. I get tricked all the time with AI videos. I thought there was this video of a frog spitting a beetle out, and I thought it was real, and I read the comments and it was fake. This happens to me constantly. But I do think that did look AI generated. But getting back into the conspiracy of this not being him, a lot of people are saying, Jim Carrey is left handed. He has talked about this quite a bit over his career that he's left handed. Well, in this video, he is signing autographs with his right hand, and that's what he's been doing that on the red carpet, using his right hand. So, yeah, I mean, if that's true, it's a little strange that he is, I believe, 64 now, that in his 60s, all of a sudden he is switching hands. A little strange, but maybe. But then there's more. People are saying, his eye color is different. He has always had brown eyes, darker colored eyes, and these eyes on this new Jim Carrey, they're lighter colored, kind of a hazel green. And then, of course, we have to talk about the fact that, he doesn't seem like the type of actor that would get work done. He's talked about embracing aging before, not to mention he uses his face so much in his roles that he has a very, very expressive face. You've seen The Grinch, Liar, Liar, Dumb and Dumber. Like his face needs to move for his roles. I mean, he doesn't really act too much anymore. I thought he retired, but then he did come back, I think, for Sonic the Hedgehog. And I see he does have some stuff listed in his IMDb. So he does use his face a lot. And if you're getting work done, you can't really move your face as much depending on what you get. But I've also seen a lot of people say that it's John Malkovich, which honestly I kind of get, especially with the eye color. Gonna insert a little clip of John speaking. Again, just kind of pay attention to the demeanor, his eye color, all of that.
Hello, I'm John, and I'm really excited. No, really, I know I might not look extremely excited, but I really am, because we will meet a few times and get to know each other pretty well. It's going to be inspiring. exciting, interesting.
Again, I don't know, maybe it's the side of me that likes conspiracies, and I'm like, I kind of get it. I kind of see that. I don't know why they would switch plate or not switch places, but I don't know why he would be dressing up as Jim Carrey for a red carpet. Maybe they have a movie coming out together in next year or something, and this is all for that? I don't know. Maybe Jim Carrey has an upcoming role where he undergoes a transformation, so this is just him getting into character. Do any of you remember when Joaquin Phoenix did this and everyone thought he went crazy, but really it was just because of a role? I don't know, this whole thing is going crazy. Even celebrities are weighing in and they need to know the answer. A lot of people think maybe it's a social experiment of some type, which, again, to be fair, I feel like if any celebrity was gonna do some type of social experiment like this, we don't know what it means, but say it's a social experiment, I could see Jim Carrey participating in it. But I don't know. Yes, there is definitely something different, something a little bit off, but at the same time, do I believe it's some big conspiracy? Not really. Maybe 2% of me thinks that because, like, stranger things have happened, but the rest of me kind of just thinks that he got some work done. He's getting older, the combination of the two. That's kind of what I think it is, but you never know.
Y'all are comparing 2006, 20 years ago Jim Carrey, to now. This is him last year, and this was him with longer hair when he was younger. They don't look that different, okay? You see this man, Grandpa Carrey, with all these wrinkles? It's because of his branding of his career. All the facial expression causes wrinkles, okay? And so what? He wants to be girly pop too and look good, feel good in his last 20, 30 years of life. If we're blessed to be with Grandpa Carrey that long. He is almost 70 years old. And he's retired. He picks and chooses when he wants to unretire for fun. Y'all cannot want this man to be like this at 80 years old. Still high energy, looking goofy as hell, 24/7. And naturally, when you get older, you move slower, you talk slower. Well, that's not his eye color. He has hazel eyes. They can change on lighting. And he has gray hair now. Like, come on. He's just a little pale. I don't have the energy to be out in the sun all day, every day, like he was in his 40s. Not everything is a conspiracy theory. Is Hollywood what it is? Yes. Not too much of my grandpa now, okay? Would you like it if someone was talking about your grandpa like this? He's made us laugh our whole life. Like, don't do this to this man, please. So, 64 years old is a lot later in life in Hollywood to get a facelift for a man. Usually they start at like 40, 45 years old. So, like, I'd say this is pretty on brand for Jim Carrey in his old ass age.
I do love Jim Carrey, so with that being said, I do hope whatever is going on that he is well, whether that was him on the red carpet or wherever he is. I hope he's doing well. But yeah, 2 different topics for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would love to know your thoughts on both topics, so drop your thoughts below. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.